Hello, hello.
Hello.
We all do that hello slightly differently. Hiya. Welcome to today's Together show, 26th of July. We have one guest today, Olive on the screen there, who Samara will be chatting to a bit later. And you've got myself today. I'll be coming back in a bit because I've got lots of information for what you can do with your kids, whether it be summer schemes, whether it be help with food, and whether there's some reduced cost bits that you can do with the kids through the summer holidays. Some of these people we might actually be speaking to in the next few weeks live on air. But I thought if we do a whole lot of information at the beginning, then you can see what we're up to and we'll get some updates through some of them. So what I'll do is I'll leave you with Samara and our guest, and I shall see you in a bit.
Thanks. So hi everybody, my name is Samara and I'll be hosting today, and I have the lovely Olive here. I actually don't know much about you at all, so I'm literally just going to open the floor for yourself just to tell us a bit about you and what you do, and then I'll just ask questions as I'm led, if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine, Samara, and nice to meet you.
You too.
So who am I? I'm a health and learning coach, and I've been passionate to help people in particular with using their strengths so that they can improve literacy, numeracy, concentration, all that boring stuff that you're meant to be doing in school that you're struggling with. And I've seen so many kids recently who have failed at one thing, like reading or spelling, and think they're just completely rubbish and can't do anything. Whereas actually they've got loads of examples. I'll give you an example of one kid I met recently. Really bright lad, could read, couldn't spell, but he had the most amazing memory, and he got great imagination. He could make up stories, but he couldn't write them down. So his mum was now trying to write them down for him. And problem solving, all sorts of useful skills like that. But because he couldn't spell, he just felt a complete failure. And I really would like to try and stop that happening. And so I spend my time talking about what the kids are good at, and then helping them use some of their strengths for the things that they're struggling with.
Great. So what is your company called, or your business? What is it actually called?
It's called Empowering Learning, and we basically help people to learn skills so that they can find learning easier. And it's not complicated, it's actually really simple. And so, for example, I'll give the audience a question. If you go to spell a word like giraffe, can you actually see the word? Or are you trying to work out what it sounds like? Now, giraffe is a really difficult word because the question is how many R's and how many F's. And so quite often people will go, I don't know. But once they can see a word, then they will find it really easy to answer the question. And so we teach people who've got these really good visual memory skills. We teach them how to use visual memory for words, which we aren't teaching in our schools. So if we've got anybody listening whose children are really struggling with spelling or reading, then there is a really simple question to ask them. When you go to spell a word, you can say any word you like, cat, dog, lion, giraffe, whatever. Can you see the word? Or do you have to try and work out what it sounds like? If you can see the word, you're going to be fluent at reading and you're going to be good at spelling. If you can't, you won't. And you'll probably end up being diagnosed dyslexic. But it's totally changeable. Does that make sense to you, Samara?
Yeah, it definitely does. I didn't actually ever look at it like that because I've got a 6-year-old, and I just feel like I've never looked at asking her if she can see the word. I just don't think I've never taken that approach. So that's actually quite helpful, to be fair, because she does well with her spellings, but I feel like there's certain words that I feel like she overthinks as well.
Yeah.
I feel like children do that, don't they? They kind of, well, us as human beings overthink sometimes, and I just feel like, yeah, children just overthink it rather than just see it for what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So kind of a nice strategy that I may use myself.
And I notice that when you're thinking about that, you're looking up, which is the place where pictures are when you look up.
Yeah.
So if I ask anybody in the audience to just picture a dog, if they look up, they'll be easier to see the animal. And so what we do is we teach people to look up and see the words. And it all works ridiculously easily. And one of my missions in life is to try and get this into every school or into every home. But it's so simple. Parents can do it. You don't need to be a teacher to learn how to do this.
No.
You can do it with really simple cards that, for example, when you have in school or you have at home cards with pictures on them, where are the words? If the words are on the picture, it'll be easier for the child to remember the picture and the words simultaneously.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of little things you can do like this, which will actually really help.
What would you say inspired this process and like you putting this this scheme together, you know, this business together? Like, what was the turning point for you where you thought, there's a gap in the market for this, I think this would be quite helpful?
Right, 22 years ago, I was in a training course and they taught us how to visualize words in 5 minutes. And I went, don't be ridiculous, I can't do that. I'd always got poor spelling. I could read, but I couldn't remember anything I read, which is the most boring problem to have, by the way, because you feel it's just pointless if you can't remember anything you read. And so I went on this training course on the Saturday, and I walked into my local special needs school on Monday morning and said to the deputy head, who I happen to know socially, I've just learned something on Saturday that I think might help kids who've got poor literacy. Have you got any? And he said, yeah, we've got hundreds. Which ones would you like? And so I started teaching these kids, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to teach kids who were severely dyslexic how to visualize words, because the big key is they've already got good pictures. And this is true for dyslexia and most of the neurodivergent conditions, if you like to call them conditions, that they've always got, these kids and adults have nearly always got very good pictures. So it's easy to put words in their pictures. And Dee was saying to me something earlier about adults and children. Now, I've spent a long time working with children and some adults. The problem is with adults that if you've got a really visual adult, if they've carried on being a good visualizer, it's easy to teach them. But on the other hand, if they've gone through school and had no encouragement to visualize things or to be creative or to be imaginative, then you may well have lost the skill by the time you become an adult. And there was some fascinating research done by NASA a few years ago on that they reckoned 98% of 4-year-olds were creative geniuses, but only 2% of the adult population was. And so they lose it through school.
That's absolutely. Do you know what's funny is it's always the stats. When you look at the statistics and kind of what's happened there, you know, like it's always quite hard to. I couldn't believe something like that, but if it's statistically proven, then that's exactly what it is. But
if you talk to people about their mental images, I mean, when I say to you, picture a cat, can you see a cat?
Yeah.
Right. What colour's your cat?
Ginger.
Right. And has it got any distinguishing marks or different coloured eyes or what?
I feel like now my mind's working like really hard to really visualise this cat now. Yeah, I'd say it's got like brown eyes.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so you've got a picture of a cat. That's all I wanted to ascertain. And the audience can actually do exactly the same with themselves or with their kids. That
Yeah.
have they got pictures? Sometimes if adults have lost their pictures, I actually run a workshop for getting them back when
Oh,
you've become an adult and lost the plot, as it were.
oh,
But the only because I found that a lot of adults were not visualizing anymore, and this statistic from NASA absolutely proved it. And so I thought, oh, okay, so I'll run a free 60 minutes on getting your pictures back again,
mm,
which is quite remarkable. I had one lady on the first course I ran, and she said, I haven't got any pictures, no pictures at all. And I went, and I started talking to her about pictures for 30 minutes. And then she suddenly said, but hang on, I had an amazing photographic memory when I was at school and I was doing my A levels. I could just remember what was in the books. And so anyway, we carried on talking. And by the time she got to the end, she suddenly went, I've got my pictures back.
mm-hmm.
They're now here. And it is, you know, that old saying that if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's got a lot to be said about that.
Do you, with your, you know, with your training and things like that, do you implement the type of learner the person is? So if they're more of a visual learner, if they're more of a, is there a way to implement that, or is it not really?
There is, but the really weird thing is that most of the people who've been identified as being neurodivergent, and in particular some of the ones that are struggling with literacy, numeracy, concentration, they've nearly all got really good pictures, but they've not learned how to use them for other stuff. So they've got fantastic pictures in their head that are doing all sorts of interesting things, but what they haven't learned how to use that skill for words or numbers.
Okay.
And that's the skill to teach.
What age do you focus on? Like, do you have different schemes for different age brackets, or does it kind of go across a broad age bracket? Like, what?
Very similar, although even if you're an adult, if you've not visualized a word ever, what you need to do is start with really short words. So you've got cat and dog and stuff like that. But it doesn't take long. It takes like half an hour before you're up to much, much longer words.
Yeah.
But for the tinies, I've got a granddaughter now who is 15 months old. And for the tinies, I'm talking to my daughter about how she can encourage her daughter to start visualizing things without actually being taught. So we're not forcing her into learning. We're not forcing her into being taught. We're saying, for example, I mean, she's only got a few words at the moment, but when we've been reading a story, you can just say to a child, however large they are, you can just say, just make up stories of the picture, and then when we get to the end, I'll ask you some questions, and and so you're just encouraging them to use their visual skills. And most kids are really good when they're being read a story at creating pictures of the story. And normally they've got a fantastic memory for anything that's happened in the story. Then when you get on a bit further, what you do is you have cards around the house on the wall with pictures of animals with the word written across the middle of the animal. And the reason for that is then every time you think of a cat, you'll see the word cat as well. Go on.
That kind of, you know, where you can kind of put the word into the picture, like intertwine it into the picture. Yep. Is that completely different?
Well, yeah, I don't know, not quite sure about that, but I think what I do is just take a picture of something and just write across it in a felt pen.
Okay, maybe my mind is just running away with me.
I think you've got onto a really good idea.
Yeah, you know, like when you implement the word into the actual drawing of the thing itself.
Oh, really neat.
I've tried to do it before, like with the children, to kind of like make a cat out of the word cat.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've just that's just gone over my head.
That's a lovely idea. But
Yeah.
if you have the words below the cat or above it, then what you have to do is you have to hold two images together, which is much more difficult. So I just write across the middle of the pictures.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just seeing because I'm
We've
catching.
got loads of questions coming
Yeah,
in here.
I just don't want to. I want to
Yeah.
thank you because I've lost a lot because I've just got really into this conversation. I've lost a lot of the questions. So if you can like somehow kind of see if there's any. Do you run workshops in SEND schools, SEND schools?
Yeah, I will run workshop. Whatever anybody asks me to run a workshop, I'm very happy to do it. Since lockdown, I've been doing loads of stuff online, and so very happy to do that, and very happy to do it for teachers or do it for kids. The very first children I ever taught were in a special needs school and were really, really dyslexic. And it was astounding how quickly you could see them change.
Wow. I mean, I suppose something like that would be so helpful, but what would you, if you had any encouragement for any parents on here, because I'm a parent myself and I feel like this has been quite useful, especially the whole can you see the word thing. I've never tried and never even thought to ask my child to enhance and help her with her spelling. So that's been something that I would personally as a parent take away to try with my daughter.
Absolutely.
And for my son. So I really thank you for that because it's quite helpful. But is there any words of encouragement that you have for any parents that may be watching or may tune in later on to see?
I would say these kids are really bright. If you've got a child who's struggling with literacy, invariably you've got a child who is incredibly visual. They've got these amazing skills. I'll just rattle through some of the amazing skills they've got. Curiosity, creativity, visual memory, problem solving, imagination, critical thinking. Now, not those skills they've come on the planet with, if you like, and developed. As they go to school, they may not be used. There isn't much going on in schools typically on creativity. And if there are schools listening who are great at some of these skills, then I'm delighted to hear it. But quite often we find that the curriculum has got so much in it that we've got to teach the children, then things like creativity tend to be left out. But if you've got a child who's really good at visualizing, really creative, and has got problems with literacy, this is ideal for them, because I can guarantee in 22 years I've now been doing this, I have not yet met anybody diagnosed dyslexic who is visualizing words.
Okay.
So if you end up, but you struggle and you struggle and you struggle, and you end up getting a diagnosis of dyslexia by the age of 10 or something or other, but that there's just this one skill missing, that they have not learned to visualize words. And I can tell you that if you don't visualize words and you go for an assessment, you're going to be diagnosed dyslexic. So my attitude now is to say to people, just before you go for an assessment, just check whether your child is visualizing words. If they're not, let's teach them, and then you can decide whether they need to go to an assessment.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way of putting it as well, to be fair. That's something that could be a bit more manageable as well, rather than putting a child through an unnecessary assessment without checking first.
Yeah, exactly. I had a child recently who visualized. He said, yeah, I can visualize the first letter of any word I want to spell. I went, what about the rest? And he went, no. So that's a bit limiting. And we taught him how to visualize all of the words, and he went, I can do that.
Bless. No, that's amazing. To be fair, again, I love these shows because I've noticed that they've been helpful when I've not hosted, but when I've been able to be a bit cheeky and be a bit more, hands-on with the guest myself as a host now, I feel like I've got so many little gems from each of you, and it's been great for me. Like I said, I'll take away from this the whole, can you see the words? So I think that could be quite helpful. And it could be helpful for me as a parent to kind of enhance my daughter's learning as well, which I think is quite helpful. So I really appreciate that. But two things, is there anything else you want to share? And are you able to also share your social media? So where can we find you if we want to get in contact and stuff like that?
The thing I would like to share is these kids are really bright. Don't don't think they aren't. They've got a bucket load of these amazing, what I call 21st century skills now. And it's our job as adults to make sure that they retain them through to adulthood, and that they make friends with their mental images so that they've got them under control and they use them for literacy, numeracy, whatever else they want to do with it. I've got running along the bottom of the screen is empoweringlearning.co.uk, which is my website. There is a really nice, I'm currently trying to move a lot of my learning materials onto a learning platform, and we're part of the way through. But the ones that people will find really useful is that there are now 4 individual free 60-minute sessions where you can just come on and learn about mental imagery, learn about dyslexia, learn about ADHD, and learn about children who are highly sensitive. And you find those through, I'm not sure that one's running along the screen, you find those at visualkids.co.uk. Okay, visualkids.co.uk.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. I've had great of talking to you, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time as well. I'm gonna jump off. I think Shelley might have a chat with you, but I will be in the wings waiting. But thank you again. It's been great.
Thank you. I think what I'll do, by the way, is I'll go and look on Facebook, and we got so many comments on here. I'm quite happy to answer them.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that'd be great.
Put your comments into Facebook or
if I pop you off the screen, and then you can have a good look through. There's just a few comments about we've got one of our ladies that is a TA at the school, so she's put a couple of comments in on there that she's going to speak to her Senko. So you might be getting some work, Olive.
Well, just ask them to contact me and phone me up, or contact me through the website. Then I'd be delighted to help them. I just want all these children to stop being stressed out about things that they don't need to be stressed out about. Yeah, in my opinion,
they have the right to be children at the end of the day, so they shouldn't take away from them, which is important. But yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ellie. I'll hand over to you, and I'll bye soon.
If you stay there, Olive, we'll bring you back on the screen in a minute. I'm just going to go through. I'm on my own on the screen. I don't like this. all I can see is Cecile like clapping her hands behind screens. Yes, so I'm on just to go through a few things that I've left in the comments and that I've left in the description of the show. As we're at the beginning of the kids' summer holidays, there are a lot of schemes around to both help you with activities and to help you with any extra food costs and things that you've got going on. So every council is in charge of the government money that then goes out and programs into your local area. It's called HAF, H-A-F, and it's holiday, activity and food. For us being in Luton Borough Council have got their own webpage, and if you then into Central Beds, they've got their own webpage. The details are in the description of all the schemes that they've got. So whether you're summer clubs, whether it's schools, whether it's the local leisure centres, they've actually got some kind of schemes that are then going on. Please do go and have a look. It's monies that's come from government that's helping you through the summer holidays. Some other bits and pieces that we've got on there. We've got directional CIC and chance to change CIC. They've got summer schemes going on, and they have schemes that go on every single holidays, as well as during term time as well. They are both provisional, the extracurricular kind of schemes that are set up. So if you have got children that have been excluded or possibly going to be excluded, they've got schemes during the term time. So they've got their own summer schemes going on. Also, what we've got that you should then see in the comments is a lot of people that have got specific things going on, specific events. Sometimes they're only on just for the week. Some of them will then go all the way through the summer holidays. There's one in there that's got the free breakfast boxes for kids. That then comes out of Sundon Park Baptist Church. You've also then got the one that's the Baptist Church Central in Luton, which I now can't see on my screen. I did have a bit earlier on. The Baptist Church in Sundon Park is the breakfast boxes. You've got the open door policy that's at the Central Baptist Church that has also then got the food. So they are then from the afternoons that are then in there. You've got boxing that's going on, the Summer in the Park schemes. So it's boxing, arts, crafts. You've got all the different details of like the Farley Hill Park, Kingsway Park, Manor Park, whether that be lunchtime or whether that be in the afternoons or the mornings. You've got them bits and pieces going on. And also our friend Angel, that's the No Ordinary Bookshop. She always has her free events that goes on during the summer holidays. She's there for every Wednesday in the market, starting from this coming Wednesday. There's always storytelling and there's activities. So there's colouring, there's sticking, and there's always a story time part thing that's along with the bits that she does. I mean, I've said directional CIC. They've got their football that's going on, and they're also then doing their commercial street dance. So you've got the flies in there for the costs of things. The other thing that's then in on the details, if you ever look through, is those restaurants that are actually providing reduced cost or free meals if you go along and have an adult meal. So you've got places like the Sizzle, Brewers Fayre, Asda, Morrison's, that if depending on what it actually then says. I mean, I got those details from another site, so please do double check with the website or the place that you're going to before you go. But if you're out and about on holiday, because I know our local Asda hasn't got a cafe, but some of them have, go along and double check that if you like an adult meal, there's something like a £5, you get 2 free kids meals, all those kind of things. But there's a plenty of them on there. And our own website, the Facebook page, Simply Deez Events, we do have a group as well that's sharing anything that's then coming up, because I know Go Bowling, Dunstable, we put on there. They're offering either free times after sort of an adult ticket. There's lots and lots that's out there that they've got monies that's come from somewhere. And I think the Luton Food Bank is doing the same thing as what they did on the last lot of holidays, in which they're putting specifically together for like kids' lunches. So help is out there. Follow our pages and bits and pieces. I'm going to get everyone back on again because I've now just been talking to myself. And I like talking to myself.
But we were all listening.
It's all good. It's all good. That Mara thinks she's got away with it. We're going to get her back on in a second. She can stop playing with her hair. I can see it.
I did go to put her on, then I saw what she was doing. I was like, no, I'll be.
No, you should have put her on. Wow. There is absolutely loads on, and Shelley's just gone through some of the things that we know are going on. And obviously, if you're out there, and I think Trisha's just put something in the chat, jungle activity, Houghton Hall Park on Sunday, the 21st of August. If you're aware of things that are going on, don't keep it to yourselves. There's others out there that would love to know what can they do during this time, whether you could be a carer, an auntie, and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, what do I do with them? What do I do with them? Well, there you go.
Even down the
That's
Mall
what we're
at the
doing.
minute. Yeah, at the Mall they've got it looks like it's a treasure hunt kind of thing that's going on. So if you're having to go down, like getting the kids' bits ready to go back to school, even though they've only just left left for summer holidays, while you're down there, they've actually got like a scheme going on as well, which I think is like a treasure hunt kind of thing. So yeah, there's lots of things like that.
Could I just add in? You mentioned the No Ordinary Bookshop in the Mall.
Yeah.
If you get the lady who runs it to talk to me, I would be quite happy to come along and teach a few kids if she would like that.
Yeah,
Definitely do that.
Yeah,
She
just
will
put her in
do.
touch with me.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
will do. Angel certainly will. And that is what we do, guys. Connecting. Yeah, so you guys are thinking like, okay, so we're on summer holidays now. So what are you lot going to be talking about and sharing? Well, what we want to do over the next 5-6 weeks or so is to get some of those young people. Let's hear from some of the young people and what they're doing, what they're getting up to. Some of those that have graduated, some of the young people that we've come across during our activities who are actually running their own business. We've got the young man, Shai, who has got his own lemonade business, and he is 9.
Yes, 9, yeah.
How old are we? And how long did it take? You don't have to wait till you get to a ripe old age to be doing something. So what we thought we'd do is if we should get these young people on and they can start sharing things, it might be something that your child or somebody you know may want to get involved in, or it might just be something that just switches something on for them. They think, oh, do you know what? I might give that a try. So that is what we're going to be doing. It's going to be very exciting. I'm so looking forward to having them. They're going to be, as I told my grandchildren, they're going to be running things over the next few weeks. And I'm hoping, I met a young lady, Anaya, you know her, Shelley, on Leanne's daughter.
Yes.
On Saturday. So you may find that we have a few new hosts just for over, sort of like popping in, guest hosting over this period. And it'll be really nice to hear from them, hear what life's like for them. Because I'm sure it's not what we think. We think one thing, and I know we're going to be told, and they're going to be sharing, they're going to be real, they're going to be honest. Some of it we may even feel uncomfortable, but I think some of those things are maybe things that we need to hear. So, yeah, exciting times ahead. And oh my gosh, and Simply Deez, I don't even know where to start, because Shelley, what are you going to be doing soon, Shelley? You forgot to mention that. Just tell them very quickly what you're going to be doing soon. I don't know when, but soon.
What am I doing?
Health Mates.
Yes. There is a national charity called Mental Health Mates. They have people that in your local areas will go and have a walk. Nothing to do with health, just getting yourself out of your house and having a walk and having a chat if you need to. So it's a real nice, gentle walk. We did have one in Luton. For some unknown reason, it then stopped just before COVID and didn't start back up again. So I decided to start one up and contacted them, and they said yes, please. So different parks around Luton on a weekend, like late morning-ish. Just have a stroll, have a chat, and I've picked places that have got like teas or coffees or whatever afterwards. So yes, that I should be starting up soon, just after just after the summer, I think. Get everyone all together.
Excellent. So they need to watch his space. Have you got anything that you want to share, Cecile? I'm only asking.
What, a little support group that I'm going to put together?
Plant a little seed in their head. That means they're going to subscribe and they're going to follow us for more info.
Watch this space. It's going to be a support group. Shall I tell them what it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to be setting up a fibromyalgia support group. Just because we don't have a local one, for people to get together, talk about what's going on for them, and at some point also do something online as well for those who can't physically get to a space. So yeah, watch that. That's coming out.
Told you, amazing stuff. I can't share what I'm going to get up to. When I share it with these guys, they're going to say, I don't believe it.
Oh no.
They're both sweating. And Samara, kids are off. What are you up to, love? Hello. Oh, hello. Hello, Kiddie Weeks. What are you going to be up to? We're sharing all these things, especially for you. We're trying to help you keep the kids and yourself sane. I think because she's driving, she's frozen.
Yeah, she was having the hairdresser.
One of them moments. So we're wrapping up now.
Can I just add something to Cecile? Is that all right?
Come on, Olive.
Many moons ago, well, probably about a decade ago, I was doing some training on energy, and I came off the training at the end and I went, people have got no energy. And so I wrote a book called Recover Your Energy. And
I've got the other one.
You've got the other one. Right,
No,
this is a friend of it, this one. And it was written for chronic fatigue and ME, basically, because those people know they've got no energy, so I don't need to convince them. But it's written as a story, and people, if you look on Amazon, you will find some people love it, some people hate it, because they don't get the idea of reading a story can actually do you so much good. But there is also, it for two other things. One is fibromyalgia, it may well help.
Yeah.
And the other thing is long COVID.
Yeah.
And as my contribution to long COVID, as it were, I mentioned earlier visualkids.co.uk. There is up there is the recordings of the whole book called Recover Your Energy, and they are free. So anybody can download those as many times as they like, and I wish them luck with it, because it's a rotten thing to be struggling with, and I think you need all the help you can get.
I need to get hold of that book.
Right.
That's one that you gave me, Olive, isn't it? You gave me some of them, didn't you?
No, I gave you the one that was
That's
about you two can do health.
Oh,
It's
right.
the health one, yeah.
This one is the one about energy, and if you look on Amazon, you'll be really amused, because I think there's still the testimonial up there from a guy who said, I just read your book and I've stopped having chronic fatigue. What on earth happened?
Wow. Awesome.
Brilliant. I will get hold of that. Thank you.
Pleasure. But don't forget to point people at the free downloads, because that was when I listened to a television program talking about COVID, and I went, they might as well have been talking about chronic fatigue and ME 10 years ago. It was just the same symptoms, and I thought, anything I can do to help, then I will make the recordings free.
Fantastic. Thank you.
There you go. I'll stop talking now.
Stay there, Olive, because we're going to come off the live. There's Samara. Samara, did you want to come on, love? Do you want to say something?
Say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
It's everybody.
The stars of the show. The stars
Yeah,
of the
you know what? They're actually
future.
very well behaved. You know, like, I'm really happy about that. I'm slightly sweating, thinking, "Oh my gosh, they're going to kick off whilst I'm upstairs for this little chat that I'm going to have." But they were great. Thanks, guys.
We will see you all soon. So I think that's it for now. Please follow us on all of our platforms. Facebook, we're on Instagram, and please register on YouTube. So we are back next week. I suggest you tune in to see who are going to be our guests next week and who's going to be hosting. So see you guys next week. Take care and have a blessed week.
Bye.
Bye.